in your
No,
assumptions.
you're not.
Yes,
Because my
I am.
standard is this. Is life the standard of value or not? Can you attack that? That's what I want to see.
Well,
you
I
do.
don't know if we can get there, because right now I need to see if you even have
That's the first principle.
I just
dude.
want to
That's
see
the
if you
first
have a
principle.
coherent worldview at all. So I'm going to start
My-
with this.
My
I'm gonna-
coherent world.
I'm going to
Hold
start
on.
with this, if this is
Okay, you
coherent
go
or
ahead.
not.
Okay.
Tell me why, demonstrate to me why it's harmful to go in your backyard and dig up grandma if nobody ever finds out
Nice.
about it and fuck her corpse. Demonstrate why
Okay.
that is unethical or wrong or harmful. Demonstrate it.
Dude, if your view of ethics is so warped that you're looking at
This is not an
questions about
argument.
having sex,
This is not an argument.
It is. It actually,
No, it's not.
is.
It's
Can I
not.
tell you why it is?
Yeah.
Can I tell you why it
Yeah,
is?
I can't wait to hear it.
Because ethics has to do with the way we live our everyday
Yeah, I
lives.
know, like digging up
What
a
we
dead
do.
body and having
Who's
sex with
doing
it.
that, dude? Who's doing
It's
that?
okay. You would agree
who's
with me
doing
that
that?
people have done that.
I would agree with you that that is not the norm of human
So
behavior.
what?
That's
I
not
want to
Yeah,
know
so
why it's
what?
wrong. Why is it wrong?
I want to know how you.
I don't
think
want.
that
I don't want you to ask
Just because something's not the norm doesn't mean people don't do it.
me a question. I
don't
want you to
care,
answer
dude.
one.
I don't care.
You
dude.
can't.
This
You
world-
can't answer the question, bro.
I can, but I'm not
You
going to play
can't.
that game with you. Of course, I don't want to play that game with you. You can laugh and you can play all the games you want.
It's not a game.
And maybe your audience of dimwits goes for that,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Do
Well-
you agree that inside of what you consider to be normative ethics, there's going to be sexual ethics? Sexual ethics going to be a part of that, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I'm asking you a question in regards to the sexual ethics of your system. And
You
I want to
start off-
know
hold on, but
why
hold on.
why it is
No,
that it's
I'm
not
gonna
okay
get into that
to
yet. I'm not gonna get
go
into
hump
that
a
yet.
dead body. Why?
Dude,
Tell me.
And I've told you 15 times, and I'll tell you again. If you want to keep asking me that, I'm going to keep telling you.
Mhm.
I'm not going to address that until we address fundamentals.
Well, then we
You're
don't
not-
have anything else to talk about till you answer my
Right,
question.
Hold on. Aren't you a divine command theorist?
Bro, it doesn't.
Yes or no?
We
Are you a
right
divine
now. Hang
command
on.
theorist? Yes
Right
or no?
now.
Yeah.
We have two ought claims on the table. You claim, right, that you ought not have sex with a dead body or roadkill or your sister. You
I
claim
didn't
we
say
ought
that-
not.
Hold on.
Wait. You're not claiming that we ought not do that,
Hold on.
or you
What I
are
said
claiming we
to
ought
you
do that?
I said in terms. You asked me 1st.
Mhm.
Oh, first of all, this is the dumbest ethical question I've ever heard in my
Then
life.
answer
That's
it.
the first.
Yeah, answer it.
The reason I don't want to answer
'Cause you
it because
can't.
no, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, it is.
It has to
It's
do
'cause
with
you can't.
granting you the sanction of a ridiculous question.
It's not a
You wanna
ridiculous
have a-
question.
that's
Saying
where you-
something's ridiculous to show me where it's fallacious, where I'm not asking you about not claim, where I'm not asking you about sexual ethics. Make a fucking
I'm saying-
argument. It's ridiculous.
Hold
Isn't an argument. It's ridiculous. You want to answer the
No.
question.
No, what's ridiculous is trying to have an ethical debate and start off with the most purient, disgusting thing that you could possibly come up with.
Why? Why is that wrong? Why is that bad for me to do? Why is it bad for me to test your logic by showing you that you have a flaw when it comes to sexual ethics? You can't answer basic questions about sexual ethics.
And I'm going, okay. The reason it's flawed is
Yeah.
because we haven't even discussed first principles yet. Are you going to accept all the claims that I made and then ask me how having sex with a dead body
Bro,
violates those?
if
Yes or no?
listen, if it is the case that
Yes.
your whatever you determine to be your first principles are not first principles, okay?
Can you refute the first principles?
Well,
Andrew?
okay, stop.
That's what I want to know.
Stop, bro. Let's get into this first, okay?
Okay.
I'm asking you an ought question, very basic ought question under
Okay.
your worldview.
Yes.
Is it okay for a brother to fuck his mother or fuck his father if it leads to non-reproduction? Are they allowed to do that or not?
Okay. And what I'm saying to you is,
You're not
Can
going to
answer
answer.
your question.
no, I'm not interested in discussing
Well,
that.
okay. Well, I am interested in.
What's funny is that if you turn it around and ask Andrew, hey, well, what do you think about that? Andrew would be like, yeah, no, you can't do that. And they'd be asked why. And then he could point to God and say, yes, that because God says that's wrong. He could do that. But these people over here, these like secularists or whatever, they can't do that. They're like, it's like in a way they leech off of our principles and our ethics to form theirs, but then they want to deny God at the same time.
Discussing it.
Why? Why is that
because
you
I
wanna
want to know
discuss?
the entailment of your position. This will get to the heart of whether or not you can actually answer any of these claims when it comes to your system. Your ethical system covers
Sure.
sexual ethics. You want to go to first principles, argue over first principles, that's fine.
Dude,
That's fine. But first, before we get to that, the same argument Dave Smith fell prey to, you're also falling prey to.
No,
The
I'm not.
entailment,
Dave
yes,
Smith
you
fell
just,
prey. Hold on. No, no.
bro, hang on. Let me finish and then I'll let you talk. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want an answer to this question. Can you, under your ethical system, whatever that is, right? Give me an answer to the question of why it would be wrong for somebody's son to have sex with them if it led to non-reproduction, or having sex with a dead body if nobody ever found out about it. Can you tell me why those things would be wrong?
First off, what Dave Smith fell prey to.
Dude, I'm not interested in this.
Dude, none of these people, they don't want to answer the question because they can't and they know it. They can't and they know it. And then they always complain and they go, why do you always throw out these wild hypotheticals? And it's like, it might be wild, but it's not something that doesn't happen. Do you mean to tell me there are no incestuous relationships between fathers and sons nowhere in the world? You know, it happens. Just because it's a rare instance or maybe not common doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And how can your worldview, under your worldview and your ethics system, say that that's wrong?
I'm interested in an answer.
You said that my claim at the beginning was I respected what you did with Dave Smith.
That's great. I'm doing the same thing to you.
But you're really not.
Yeah, I really am.
You asked
You
Dave
still can't
why
answer the same question.
Because, dude, back up for two.
Okay.
Can we just talk first principles?
No, we can't. We're going to start. We're going to start with sexual ethics, and I want to know
why?
Because I want to know the answer.
Dude, does this yelling stuff, do you really think that accomplishes
Do you
something?
think that speaking softly, making no arguments isn't frustrating to people?
Dude,
yeah, exactly.
my argument is,
what's your
that
argument?
the questions you're asking are irrelevant.
That's not an argument. That's not an argument. No, it's not.
Because it is. Want me to tell you why it's irrelevant?
I can't wait.
It's irrelevant to everyday life because the vast majority of people that are listening to this and that are walking around the world that need ethical guidance aren't interested in having sex with dead bodies, their sisters and mothers.
That's great. But they are interested in a system which can answer to the question of if you can or can't. So can we get back to whether you can or can't? Can you? Ought you? Is it okay? Or ought you not? Ought you not? Okay. Ought you not dig up grandma and fuck her? Ought you not do that?
Why do you talk like that?
Because I want an answer.
Okay. I'm going to answer that. And once I answer the dead grandma question, can we get to first principles? Yes or no?
Sure. But you better actually give me an answer.
Hold on. Because if I answer this question,
but
here's the thing. You can disagree with me and that's fine. But I then want to go to first principles.
That's great.
I don't want to spend all day.
Yeah, that's nice. But I mean, why would I argue? Why do I need to get to the first principles of a man who can't answer whether or not you ought not fuck dead bodies? Why would I even need to get to your first principles?
I said you ought not.
Yeah, why though? Why?
The reason you ought not to do it is because it's not in your interest to do.
Yeah, prove it. Demonstrate how it's not in your interest. Yeah.
Okay, as I've said, but then you say it's a naturalistic fallacy, but you're
That
wrong.
is a natural fallacy. I just read the fallacy. The appeal to nature fallacy is a logical fallacy that occurs when someone assumes that something is good or bad because it's natural or unnatural.
Hold on. I'm not assuming it's bad because it's not natural.
Okay, then why is it bad?
It's bad because the natural makeup of human beings operate in a certain way.
Okay, that's a naturalist fallacy. That's the same fallacy, bro.
No, it's
yeah,
not.
it is.
Let me ask you a question. Andrew.
Okay, then homosexuality is wrong because it's not natural.
That's not what I said. I didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Am I wrong?
I'm saying
it's not natural.
Wrong. I'm saying it's wrong because it's harmful to the person that does it.
Okay, then homosexuality is wrong because it's harmful to the person that does it.
No, because it's not harmful to the person.
Oh, okay, got it. Right. Okay, so now we have an argument. Great. Okay. Why is homosexuality not harmful?
Because homosexuality lies within the normal range of human behavior. It's not psychologically damaging to a person to engage in homosexual behavior.
Okay, so as long as you don't have psychological damage from screwing a dead body, right, and enough people screw dead bodies, then it's okay.
But that's not the case.
Yeah, but that's not my question as to what is the case. I'm asking you if people then, but this is an entailment of your logic. So as long as we had 2% of the population that screwed dead bodies, okay, and they didn't have any psychological damage that we could ascertain from it because they just said that they liked it like homosexuals do, then you would have no problem with people screwing dead bodies, right?
Andrew, if human beings could flap their arms and fly, to
Yeah,
the
I'd like
moon,
an
that
answer
would
to
be
my
acceptable
question.
behavior. It is, because
This is an entailment of your argument.
It's not.
It
because Now
is.
you're introducing fiction into the equation.
No, I'm
He can't call it fiction. These people, they always want to call it fiction again. So I guess nor in the world are there necrophiliacs then, I guess. I guess that's not a thing at all, according to this guy. To him, necrophilia, that's, I guess, the equivalent of a human being flapping their arms and flying to the moon. Like he's just saying. In reality, though, there's no human being on Earth that could flap their arms and fly to the moon. I could say that with 100% certainty. I guess there's a little bit of chance I could be wrong, but no, I'm pretty sure that 100% certainty there are no human beings that could flap their arms and fly to the moon. However, there are people out there that are into necrophilia. And when he says this is fiction, well, that's just a straight up lie. That's just his defense because he can't actually answer this Andrew Wilson's questions.
Introducing, all I'm asking is this: is thing X wrong? You say nope, thing X isn't wrong. In this case, homosexuality isn't wrong because it doesn't have psychological damage and enough people do it that it's within sexual normativity. So an entailment of that would be great. Then if it was within the purview of sexual normativity, stop. Let me finish.
Hold on, no, because you're misstating my point of view.
Okay, go ahead and state it again.
I did not say because enough people do it, it's okay.
Okay, well then why is it okay again?
What I said, it's within the norm of human behavior.
Yeah, but what is norm except X amount of people do it? That's it. How do you determine what is normal absent that?
Hold on. The reason it's okay is because it's not harmful. That's why.
Yeah, but you're when I ask you to demonstrate how it's not harmful, you say because it's within the stop, bro. I just let you make your argument. Calm down.
You're right.
So
you're right.
If I ask you this question, I say, well, how do you know that it's within the norm? If it's within the norm, that must mean that X amount of people do it. Otherwise, it would not be normal. It would be abnormal, right? It would be something other than normal. Yes.
What do you mean? Say that again.
So if you say X behavior is within the norm of human behavior, right? X behavior, then that would require X amount of humans to do it in order for you to ascertain that it's normal. Otherwise, it would be abnormal, right?
Okay, I'll go for that.
Yeah. So if that is the case, then what the case you are making is that homosexuality is fine because X amount of people do it. I don't know what that number is, right? But apparently 2% is fine because that's about what the number of homosexual males is, 2%. So as long as 2% of people engage in it,
I think it's higher than that, but okay.
Okay, but let's assume in the 70s it was 2%. Then it doesn't matter, right? The point is that you wouldn't say in the 70s that this was wrong either any more than you would right now when it's only 2%. So the thing is that all it requires is 2% of the population to do it because now we're inside of what is normal, right? And two, that it doesn't cause psychological harm. So then an entailment of this would be this then. As long as a person who is screwing a dead body is not being psychologically harmed by it, and you would have to demonstrate how they are. And as long as there was at least 2% of people who did it, you would now call this normal sexual behavior, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I can't wait to hear how.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, this is my fundamental claim.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I stated it wrongly. Honestly, I wasn't thinking. This is
Most
not a topic. Having sex with animals that I think about regularly. Right.
I'm sorry that you don't think about sexual ethics regularly.
No. I think about sexual ethics between consenting adults.
Yeah, I know. But how do you test those things unless you put them to broader spectrums? It makes no sense.
Listen, you can do that. But this is what I know, right? Mm-hmm. In my ethical standard, I said that if something is harmful to the person acting, it's unethical. In homosexuality, first of all, it's between consenting adults. If it's not between consenting adults, then it's wrong.
Dead body. Well, wait, hang on.
Hold on.
I have to stop you one point at a time because I want to make sure I get this correct.
Yeah.
You agree with me that a dead body would not need to consent?
I agree. It can't.
Well, it would not need to.
No, but it can't.
Yeah, I know. But the intent, it would also just would not need to.
No. But that's not really the fundamental here that I'm talking about. I'm just saying as long as it's between consenting adults, it's okay. That's what I'm saying. But now I know that homosexuality, whether it be lesbian behavior or male on male behavior, is not harmful to the person doing it. I simply have never heard
What do you mean? It's not harmful. Why are HIV rates higher in homosexual men if it's not harmful? Like I disagree with that greatly.
Or saw or imagined a case of a person having sex with animals where it's not harmful to the person doing it.
Okay, demonstrate how.
Yeah, how?
Demonstrate how. Demonstrate how.
Listen, what do you mean by how?
I want to know. I want to. So whatever the case is, when you say this is not damaging to homosexuals to engage in homosexuality, right? Yes. Whatever that basis is that you determined that was not harmful, should be the same basis you can use to determine it is harmful if somebody does this with a dead body. Can you tell me what it is?
All I can tell you is that in terms of self-esteem, in terms of self-confidence, in terms of getting along in society, all these things. Now, the people that
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of self-confident necrophiliacs out there. I'm pretty sure that exists, probably feel really good about themselves.
I've known, and all I can go by is experience. The people that I've known that have done this depraved stuff you're talking about.
You've known people who've done this stuff?
Well, he was in prison.
I served 25 years in prison. Yeah. You bet your ass I knew people who did this stuff. None of them were well. They were all felt badly about themselves. They all behaved in aberrant ways otherwise. So I can only go by the empirics. If you're looking for an axiom to say that if somebody does this, it's going to harm them, I can't provide that. But I don't believe in reasoning in that way anyways. I believe in empirics. And all I can
say... The empirics requires inductive reasoning.
And also, too, he was in prison. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, again, there's if you're in prison and you have your rights taken away and you're just locked in a cell and you can only do so much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to affect your mental health. So I don't think that's a good sample size there. There's not a lot of self-confidence. I mean, again, I'm sure there's rare examples, but in general, you're not going to see a lot of self-confident people out there. And not only that, too, but if they're also willing to do some of these crimes, I mean, I think it's safe to say that they're not that they're not the most well-adjusted people,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just using a base of an inductive argument.
And what I'm telling you is every person that I've met, encountered, that has done the type of things that you're talking about has been psychologically damaged.
So this is literally what you're doing right now is a second fallacy, which you're providing, which is literally you're making an appeal to self. You're just appealing to yourself and saying, because I have never met anybody that had good outcomes from this, that means nobody could have good outcomes from this.
No. What I'm saying
is... then I need you to tell me why it would be then, by the logical entailment of this, then, Andrew, if it were the case, then, that a person did not have psychological issues from this, and their self-esteem went up, and they enjoyed the act, and, right, nobody even knew about it. They were just doing it in their basement. Are they doing anything wrong?
Well, then we wouldn't be dealing with human beings as I know them.
Yes, you still would be dealing with human beings as you know them.
No.
Yeah, he uses this a lot too, where it's like, well, if someone is doing it, well, then again, we're not dealing with human beings as we know them. This was the same argument with the whole rights thing. It's like, well, what happens if you go to another country or the government sets a certain law or that goes against your human rights? And he goes, well, they would be infringing on our human rights, rights. He appeals to this whole, well, I don't know if it's a no true Scotsman fallacy, but it's kind of similar to that, where it's like, well, if it goes against this, then it's not a real thing. Then, like, it's not a real this. Like, this is some kind of a special unicorn type of deal. That's always his go-to. He did the same thing with the rights argument.
Because you're talking about a scenario that I can't even fathom. And you're saying,
what do you mean you can't fathom it? You can fathom it fine.
I can't.
Do you agree with me that there have been men in history who have dug up dead bodies and had sex with them?
Do I agree that's happened?
Yes. Sure. Then you can fathom it fine. So now that we've established that you can fathom that.
Not what you said.
Yeah, it is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that all I would have to do is say, then as long as this sicko dug up a dead body and banged it, okay, and then said, I have much higher self-esteem because of that, and it makes me feel really good, that you would have no argument against it, correct?
If you're saying that, if say you had an entity, change it from human beings to some other thing, to for instance, let's look at dogs. for instance.
Okay.
Dogs have sex with their sisters. They have sex with all types of things. They eat feces. There's nothing ethically wrong with a dog doing that. A dog is, first of all, it can't make choices.
Well, a dog is operating off of what is mechanical.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's my very point, is that the nature of human beings is such that what you're talking about harms them.
No, you just, that's a, okay. So here we go. We're starting with the rejection of the claim of harm, right? I'm going to, so here, I'll make this really easy for you.
Okay.
What harm could there possibly be from your view if a brother bangs his sister and she can't have children and they really love each other?
Okay. And what I'm saying to you is that scenario, I've not spent a lot of time thinking
That's
about.
great.
Maybe there.
Now I still need to know.
And what I'm going to say to you, Andrew, is maybe there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I don't really care.
You don't know. You know. So in your world, if there is nothing wrong with that, then the laws that we have on the books against that would be unjust. Correct?
Also, too, so he says I don't spend time with. So I guess if he were to ever have like a neighbor or something like that, a brother and sister neighbor, and he pretty much gets the feeling, hey, I think there's something going on there. I guess he would see nothing wrong with that. I guess, he's never thought about it. So I guess if he were to see that, he would probably be like, oh, okay, whatever, that's new. But hey, as long as they're happy, would he really think that? Or would there be a little bit of hint of judgment there? I mean, because I got to believe that there has to be a little bit of hint of judgment.
Oh, I think laws on the books against non-reproductive sex are unjust. Sure.
Okay. So
whether hold on, but that holds whether the behavior is right or wrong. It doesn't matter. It's consenting adults. There shouldn't be laws against it. That's a different question altogether.
Okay. So from your view, you don't think there's anything wrong with this?
I didn't say that.
Okay, well then can you tell me? Oh, look,
Andrew,
I need you to tell me one way or the other. Is it wrong or not?
Hold on, I don't know.
Oh,
Why
okay.
Is that not enough?
Well, okay. From now on, every question you ask me, I'm just going to say I don't know.
Even if you know, so you'd lie.
Well, I'm not sure that I know. How would I know that I know? How would I know if I know something?
Well, now you've switched the topic from ethics to epistemology.
Yeah. So under epistemology, how would I even know, right? Really know that you don't know? How do I know right now that you don't know that this is wrong or this is right? I think you do know.
Yeah.
You just don't want to tell us. You just don't want to tell us.
Well, Andrew, here's the thing. There's two things that go on when you ask me a question like that. One, I've grown up in a culture that absolutely abhors that sort of thing. So my gut reaction is to be repulsed by it. Right? My gut reaction is to be absolutely repulsed by it. But I also know that my gut reaction isn't a guide to making decisions. It isn't a guide to drawing conclusions. My rational mind is. And given that I have no interest in any relatives of mine, and given that nobody I know has any interest in any relatives of theirs, it's just not a topic of ethics I've spent much time thinking about. I have spent a lot of time thinking about whether people should lie, cheat, steal, be honest with other people.
Well, no, you're lying to me. I'll prove that you're lying right now. So here's how I know you're lying. You say I haven't spent much time thinking about this particular sexual ethic, right? That I could agree with. However, you don't really need to, because the entailment of the ethic is going to be the entailment of the ethic. In this particular case, you say if two consenting adults are doing X thing, right, they should be able to do X thing. That's not problematic from your worldview. As long as they're having sex and they're both consenting, that's not problematic. You just don't want to say that it's not problematic.
Andrew, I didn't say it's not problematic. I said it shouldn't be illegal.
Oh, okay. So it is problematic.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I said I have never thought about it.
Okay. Can you give me any type of consensual sex between two?
But he just admitted, though, he goes, well, my gut reaction would be repulsed by it. So he does know. But he's thinking, yeah, but rationally, I don't know if it's rationally my rational. So I guess in his rational head, he doesn't know if a father and son are having some kind of incestuous relationship. He doesn't know if that's wrong, or he just knows it grosses him out. He knows it's repulsed, but he doesn't know if people should or not. He doesn't know.
Two consenting adults that you would consider problematic?
Between two consenting adults?
Yeah.
Well,
any.
The only type of sex I've really ever thought about was sex with women that are adults. And I have thought about the homosexuality thing only because it's something that's widely debated.
Okay, can you repeat my question to you?
Your question to me was, are there any type of consensual sexual behaviors between adults that are problematic?
Yeah, can you answer that question?
And what I'm saying to you is I don't know.
You don't. So not only do you not know if a brother and sister banging each other is problematic, but you're not even aware if any consensual sex of any kind is problematic.
Whoa. Consensual sex between adults is what you said.
Yeah.
And hold on.
And you don't know if any of that's problematic either.
Wait, hold on. But Andrew, I'm assuming you mean adults that are of sound mind and not some.
I assume that people who are engaging in incest are of sound mind too.
Okay, well, that's fine. And what I'm telling you is the incest question is something I have not thought in depth about.
Yeah, I didn't ask you about incest this time. I asked you a different question.
No, yeah, but the only types of adult sexual behavior that I'm aware of are between men and women, men and men, women and women.
Yeah, so and none of that's problematic as long as it's consensual, right?
Those specific things, of not between non-relatives you're talking about. Offhand, I would say no. It's fine.
Right. So wait a second. So you have thought about this. You have. Hang on. So you've thought a great deal about this, and as it turns out, you can't think of any form of consensual sex between adults, which would be problematic. And yet somehow when we get to incest, suddenly you don't fucking know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I really haven't thought about it.
Listen, here's the thing. I answered your question. Here's the thing. I told you I have thought about it as relates to my own sexual behavior and the people I associated with. And I have thought it in regards to homosexuality because that's a common thing in our society. I have not thought about it in relation to incest. While my gut reaction finds it problematic, I can't immediately think to any objections to non-reproductive incest. But I'm not prepared to say yes, it's completely moral because I haven't thought about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you a different question. In libertarian land under Ayn Rand,
I'm not a libertarian. So I don't know where the.
You're an Ayn Rand. I'm sorry. You're an Ayn Rand ethicist.
Well, I wouldn't even say. I don't even like to really say that. I mean,
okay. Well, okay. Whatever.
Hold on.
I mean, you just gave your entire opening statement on it, but okay.
Yes. No, hold on. I'm an adherent to Ayn Rand's ethics.
Okay. Yes. Great. So
in the capitalist system that she advocates.
Great. So if you had a piece of property that was near a school and the public put a school near your property, but not on your property, are you allowed to go up on top of your roof because it's your property and masturbate in full view of all the children at the school?
Expose myself to children? No.
Well, it's on your property though.
Hold on. But I'm clearly inflicting myself onto somebody else's property. But it also, I would say there shouldn't be public schools. So there's that. But why?
Well, wait a second. That's really weird.
No, hold on. No, it's not because you told me that if we address the issue you want.
There shouldn't be public schools, but should incestuous relationships exist? He doesn't know. He's never thought about it.
Well, I don't feel like we've addressed it yet. I haven't gotten an answer.
What is your obsession with sexual deviance?
Well, because what it does is it's very useful. It's weird. It's really okay. Well, weird's not an argument. What it does is it demonstrates how foolish your ideology is when you can't even answer basic questions that have been settled. By the way, settled for thousands of years. They've been settled.
It's a basic question.
Yeah.
Whether ethical for brothers and sisters to have sex?
Yeah, it's a pretty basic question. Yeah,
for
sexual normativity in society, it's pretty basic.
That's really not a basic.
Yeah,
question.
It's a very basic question.
It really isn't. And what I said was,
well, then no question's a basic question. What question is a basic question by your standard? Then is any question a basic question?
Sure. Sure. A basic question would be, what is the standard of right and wrong?
Oh, that's a basic question, is it?
Yeah. Basic means.
Yeah, I mean, that's infinitely more complex.
Yeah.
The question of right and wrong than whether or not a brother can bang the sister. How in the world could you say that right and wrong is a basic question But when I ask you, is this right or wrong? You say, I don't know.
I haven't thought about it. What do you want from me? I don't know. Like, how have you thought about every single possible behavior on Earth and the possible ramifications?
I think I've thought about most of the common ones. Yeah.
But that's not common.
Yeah, it's pretty common.
No, not in my life. It's not. Maybe in your.
It's more common for people to engage in incestuous relationships than it is homosexual ones.
Not in my experience. I don't know who you're.
Well, it's not an experience thing. We have empirical data on that.
Okay.
I wonder if that's really true. I've never. Well, that's news to me if that's true. Because I would think that incestuous, and I'm talking about like adults ones. Like I'm not, unless Andrew's also talking about like, what do you say? I don't know if this is YouTube friendly, but I'm gonna just, I guess, try it. Molestation, like I guess if you factor in molestation, then yes. But like in terms of consensual, like adult ones, I don't know. Is that more common than homosexuality?
But it's not something that confronts my life.
It is something that confronts your life. What do you mean?
Really not.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't live in the society with these people then?
Not that I know of. If they're running around somewhere, they're certainly not telling me about it.
Okay.
This gets back to the very heart of the purpose of ethics and why we want ethical systems. And that is so that we can discover the proper.
That's so that we can just say, I don't know, when someone asks us what's right and wrong.
It's so that we can.
It's so that we can say, I don't know.
No, it's so we can live our lives ethically. You're bringing up a scenario that's never confronted me, never will confront me, doesn't confront anybody I know. Okay. So I've never thought about it. And you're saying, well, you should think about it. Well, I don't want to think about it. I think it's weird and it kind of creeps me out.
Oh, it's weird and it creeps you out. Great. Yeah. Great. So your standard for ethics is it's weird and it creeps me out.
No, because I'm not saying it's right or wrong because it.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah. You want to talk to me about what is right or wrong. And when I ask you a question about what's right or wrong, you just say, I don't know.
I will talk to you about right and wrong on anonymity of issues that I've thought about. Mm-hmm. You want to focus on this weird one about brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. Why?
Okay. Why. Well, then we'll continue with this then.
The thing is, though, is that this could have the whole incestuous stuff could have been already put to bed already if he would have just answered the question. If it would have just said, well, yes, I think that's wrong, or even, oh yeah, that's fine. Like either way he would have answered, it would have moved the conversation along. But the reason Andrew's stuck on it is because he never answered the question and he wants them to just answer the question. And he knows as soon as he answers the question, it's gonna blow him, it's gonna blow his whole argument out of the water. So he doesn't want to answer it. And so his only solution is, well, why are you still stuck on this so much? What's your problem?
You say it's wrong for you to get up on your ceiling or on your roof and masturbate in full view of askew on your private property, right?
Do you have to bring up these lewd?
No, they're not. Listen, I don't understand why you can't answer basic questions.
I did say it was wrong anyway, but I just would.
Yeah, I know, and that's what we're going to test. That's what we're going to test. That's what we're going to test.
But wasn't this supposed to be a give and take?
Yeah, we haven't got to the take. I haven't gotten a position out of you yet.
Yeah,
got a firm position.
No, I don't know. It's not a position.
That's on one instance, Andrew.
Okay, well then I'm trying to move to an instance where I don't get an I don't know. So here, I'm going to move to a different one. Okay, so in this particular case, you're on top of the roof, right? You're jerking it on your own private property, right? It's your property. Who are you harming?
I'm harming the children that are watching.
How?
Whether I'm on my property or not.
How?
Well, I'm harming them, first of all, because they're being exposed to something that's not age appropriate for them, that they shouldn't be seeing.
How do you make that determination?
Because I make that determination because what the nature of children are. Again, and now you're
the nature. Wait, the nature of children?
Hold on. Yeah.
What if they're teenagers?
Hold on.
So what if it's a middle school?
Hold on. But you asked me about children. Now you're going to middle school.
Well, I still think those are children. Why? I still think those are children.
No. But once I answer that, then you're going to go to adults.
No, I'm not going to go to adults. I'm just going to stay. I'm staying with children.
It's the same thing because
I want to know why it's not age appropriate.
Hold on. I just answered you.
Yeah, you just said because you did the same fallacy again. Appeal to nature fallacy.
Yeah, it's not an appeal to nature fallacy.
Yeah, it's because of the nature of children. What is that? You're saying that there's an ontological nature of children that's going to harm them?
What I'm saying is because of what children are, they're not ready for that type of sexual exposure.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Do you think they are?
No.
No. Prove it. Go up to your house right now and start going to town on yourself.
Oh, I don't. But I'm not. I'm doing an internal critique. It has nothing to do with my position. My position had nothing to do with your position. Nothing.
Okay, Andrew. So my position is, again, based on empirical reality of children who have dealt with that stuff. They've been harmed. They've been psychologically scarred. That's what happens.
Can you demonstrate that?
I can only demonstrate it with stats and reports.
Then do so. Well, I will wait.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and Google it. Do you think it harms them?
It's your claim.
It's your claim. You asked the question.
That's not a claim. A question's not a claim, you ignoramus. Do you know the difference between a claim and a question?
Oh, tough guy. Tough guy.
Whoa. I'll drop the soap on you, bro. I'll drop the soap on you, bro. You went from 0 to felon in 2.5 seconds, didn't you? 0 to felon in 2.5 seconds.
Dude, it's not going to felon. It's talk about having a respectful discussion.
Listen, it's not respectful. You have to be an ignoramus if you conflate a question with a claim. A question is not a claim.
No, you're right. I misspoke. I apologize.
So moving back, I made no claim. I'm doing an internal critique on your claim.
Hold on. You asked a question, and my answer was based on the empirical reality of reports of all the psychology I've studied that children are harmed by this type of
Show
thing.
me.
And you're asking me.
Show me.
Show you what? Data? Like
yes, you're an empiricist.
Okay, so if I get the data for you, then will you move on?
Yeah, if you get the data that you can demonstrate that it's harmful for children to see naked adults, right? Then I want to see it.
Hold on. You didn't say naked, dude. That's not what you
said.
Oh,
okay. I see. So as long as you're on the roof totally naked, it's okay.
You changed the question now. You switched the question.
No. It's in the same theme of the question. If you're sitting on your roof naked in front of all of these middle schoolers,
hold on.
Tell me the harm.
He's actually going looking up.
All right, dude. So I just Googled your question. Do you want me to send them all to you?
Yeah, send it to me via Twitter. Now, if this is a study, and I'm going to go through the study right this second. I'm real good at doing it because I argue with progressives all the time. If this has nothing to do with the question, I'm going to demonstrate it in 5 seconds, and we're going to get right back to it.
No, you know what? I'm going to send these to you after. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I don't care.
Really don't.
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh, I don't care what you care.
Yeah, I don't care that you don't care that I don't care.
Yeah, I wanted to have
we are having a discussion about ethics right this second.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are.
Actually, no, you're talking about sexual deviance.
Yeah, I'm talking about sexual ethics.
No, you're talking about sexual deviance.
How do you know it's deviance unless you're using an ethical standard?
I am using an
great. Then we're talking about sexual ethics, sir. And we're talking about sexual ethics right this second, sir.
Okay, can we talk about?
Yeah, we can. As soon as I need to get. At some point, I need to know that I can get a single answer out of you.
You got it.
What is the answer? Okay. So here, I'll just make this super simple. Guy owns his house, middle school next door. He gets on top of his roof every day, completely buck-ass naked. Demonstrate the harm.
The harm is the reports of kids. Do you think
what reports?
Serious.
My position has nothing to do with your position. How?
Because
how does my position have anything to do with yours?
Because I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, that most people understand that this harms children.
That's an argument ad populum. But another fallacy. You're a fallacy machine. You can't make an argument. Yes, an argument ad populum. You just say because most people know it, therefore it's true. That's an argument ad populum.
I didn't say that's why it's true. That's not what I said.
You said most people.
No, I said most people know it. I didn't say.
Okay, well that's an argument ad populum.
Mm-hmm.
So it said he rage quit. So I don't know if he actually rage quit right there. I don't know if that's what actually happened, but dude, I could tell like I know Andrew like he insults them if he gets frustrated with them. Like he's, we all know he's not against throwing out he's not against name calling and stuff. But I could tell when he gets fed up with the person because he'll give them an extra hard time. Like normally I think if he felt the other person was being good faith, I think the other person could make a claim like, well, that is harmful for children to see a man playing with himself, and I think Andrew would have let that go. But because he felt that Michael here was not being good faith by not answering his earlier question of oh, I don't know if it's ethical or not, or good or not, if for incestuous relationships. I think Andrew kind of got fed up and he was just kind of going really really hard on him, and see, that's the thing. Like if you're matches energy, and if you're good faith with him, if he feels that you're good faith with him, he'll be good faith back. But when you start to dodge these questions by being like, I don't know if that's bad or not, like, okay, like you're here to have an ethics debate, but you can't answer if it's ethical or not for let's say a father and son incestuous relationship or not. You can't answer that simple question. And he tries to rationalize it by saying, well, I never thought about it, I've never been exposed to it. I don't know that, but in my gut feeling is I'm repulsed by it because of society, but I don't know if rationally if it's a good or bad thing or not. But yet he's thought about public schools, right? Public schools he thinks are wrong, but he's never actually thought about if incestual relationships are good or bad or not. He's never thought about that at all. And so, he tried to get out of weasel out of it by saying, well, I don't know, and throwing all these things like, why do you think about these wild hypotheticals? Like they all do. They always get mad at Andrew, like, why do you throw out these wild hypotheticals? And it's because he's testing your worldview. Just because you sit here and say, well, that's a really extreme example, doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Just because it's something that's not normal doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It absolutely does happen. And if we were to leave you in charge, like if we were to leave Michael Leibowitz in charge, and he was the one coming up with the rules and the laws, well, how would he address incestuous relationships? Would he make that illegal or not? That's why it's important to have, like flapping your arms and going to the moon. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But incestuous relationships do happen. And it's clear that the rational egoist here just didn't want to answer the question and be honest. And so Andrew Wilson just completely let him have it near the end. Now, what did you guys think about this? How did you guys think Andrew Wilson did? How did you guys think Michael Leibowitz did, huh? Sound off in the comment section below. Give that like button a like. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it. I'm going to leave a link to the original video down below if you want to listen to the whole thing. It was shared by PIB Nurse, but I don't know originally where this conversation took place. I just know that it seemed to be re-uploaded by this PIB Nurse person. So, but it's going to be in the description down below if you want to check it out for yourself. Also, listen to the Cool Stream live Mondays through Fridays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time.